games. If so be it, sometimes you have to travel a day. I mean, I remember hearing stories about in the early stages of the Bundesliga, when the Bundesliga was happening and it had 16 teams. You guys had to travel to Hamburg, and then, the financial cost that comes into that. It's like, okay, take a train ride up, 4-hour train ride if you're going from Heidelberg to Hamburg. You're there for 2, 3, 4 hours. You play. You come back late that Saturday night or however have you. That is tough on anybody, young or, starting the game, young or old, and it's, something we've been trying to figure out is, do we, with our league, do we expand our league and say, look, let's make it more competitive. Now, how do we do that? And that, therein lies the issue of, okay, we don't have the backing for this. And you can't.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say some of my best rugby experiences. So the way you describe it, I played in the Bundesliga, I think, with 5 clubs from Hanover, 2 from Berlin, and 1 from Hamburg. So, and we traveled by bus, not train.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and you traveled up the same day you played.
Oh,
yeah.
good.
So you left 5 in the morning. You got your breakfast on the bus. It was not a much sportsman-like breakfast.
Of course not.
Fleischwurst and Bauernbrot. Yeah, but it was nice. And I have to say some of my best experiences are from that time, especially the bus rides back. It is what gave me such a strong connection to the sports, is the camaraderie,
Right.
Having said that, the game has changed. When I got into the system, I was one of the newer generation. So I was called crazy because next to the 2 times rugby sessions a week, I went to the gym. Yeah.
Okay.
So 3-4 times a week.
Right.
Whilst the more experienced players, they grew up in a system where they had trained once a week. And if they were super sporty, they jogged on a Saturday where there were no games,
Right.
So the amount of time you had to invest in sports grew because the game just got much more dynamic, etc.
Right.
So, your free time account, if you want to say it like that, it shrinked from just the amount of training you had to do. And then combining that with the social part, something had to go,
Right.
I mean, you can't tell your wife or your kids, hey, I'm training 6 times a week and I'm gone all Saturday and I'm hungover on Sunday. Yeah. But I'm not earning a single cent with all that.
Right.
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 At some stage you have to make a decision.
And you end up saying, no, I'm paying to play, actually.
That's so you need a very, I'm lucky enough, but you need a very understanding wife to have such a lifestyle,
Right. Yeah,
so and not everyone can afford that, or at least can negotiate it back home,
Yeah.
and at some stage you might want to do some stuff for your work and for your living and for your future. So that's hard to do. So at the end of the day, as long as we're an amateur game, we need to make sure we follow more of a football model. If you play football here in, let's say, a village around the corner, Geiberg, you travel 5 minutes each direction to the next village and you have a game.
Right.
And that's the one thing which I'm from Heidelberg, so it sounds always cocky. We are not better rugby players, by no means, not at all. The only thing is rugby is relatively well established in Heidelberg. So you have 5 clubs. So as a kid, I had a tournament every weekend. With that comes experience. Yeah, it is not even so much about the level you play. You just play every weekend. You jump on the trap or you jump on your bike, you take your little backpack and you play. So, and I'm always saying, and I stand to that. If every city was like Heidelberg, not every city can be that beautiful, but if every city was like Heidelberg, we would be world class in rugby. Not because of the level or the expertise in Heidelberg, just because of the amount of rugby clubs compared to the people actually living in the town.
That's true.
And that's because people can play. So we might get 1 world-class player from Heidelberg, 1 from Hamburg, and 1 from Ingolstadt, where at the moment we don't even know anyone, And those guys together make the national teams and make sure Germany gets to the next stage. So in Heidelberg, for example, if I discuss with a city and I tell them I need a pitch, I don't need to explain them that rugby is the sport which you play without helmets. They know rugby.
Right.
So I go a long way. If I have the same conversation in Hamburg, I might have to explain them first what rugby is all about, you know? So I think that's what we need to do. We need to broaden our network, and I think you're doing a great job in Rheinland-Pfalz doing exactly that, and having see that that's the one thing we can really influence, even without too much of rugby knowledge. You might just need the minibus and the parents picking up the kids from school and making sure they come to training and getting back home. That's sometimes much more important than having the best rugby coach on the pitch.
Yeah, I think that's sort of, one thing. I was very fortunate, so my rugby growth is completely different to yours, for instance. My upbringing is completely different. I was very fortunate to go to the school that I went to that, was steeped in the sport. It was kind of drummed into me from 9 years old. And, you obviously you travel to games, but the situation is so different because in the beginning you're playing, most teams or most schools are, like you say, 10-15 minutes away with a car, and your parents, could take you on a Saturday because they don't work, or they don't work on Saturdays. As I got older, sure, it was like maybe going to Paarl or Stellenbosch an hour away.